Hi beautiful people, this is Serena, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a special reading. I even tried to put like a cherry blossom lamp here to give this beautiful vibes because I've bought a new oracle card deck. It's called Shingeki no Mini and it is in English it would be something like the moonlight reflected on the sword. And this is a beautiful oracle that brings like expressions of the feminine energy and like oriental wisdom, uh, Japanese wisdom. So it's really beautiful, and there are cherry tree on the cover of the cards. So I thought that it is appropriate to have a cherry tree here too. So we have 3 piles today. The first one is the Unakite stone. The second one is like a Falcon crystal stone. Acho que I think it is like Falcon eye. I don't know. It's kind of a deep blue. And there is this like brown here on the top, like a circle that it resembles like the eyes iris. It's really beautiful. And the third group, it is a rose quartz. So as always, pause the video, close your eyes, take 3 breaths, connect with yourself, with your guides. And once you've calmed down, you can choose the pile that you are most drawn to. And then you can go to your reading. I will be placing the timestamps on the description box. And yes, that's it. Hi, group number 1. You who chose the Unakite, this is your reading. First, I must apologize because I'm a little bit with a sore throat, so maybe my voice is not the best, but I will try to give the messages. And I have to say that in your pile, I took some cards of other oracles because I felt guided to, because we will see your cards in a moment, and then you can look at the other oracle cards, and I think this will kind of spark something in you. That's why I felt guided to take these cards, even though I was only going to use like the moonlight reflected on the sword cards. I took these other ones because I felt so. So I'm going to explain how I did the card spreads. The first card is a message to your moment, to your right now, to your present moment. The second card, it's a message from your ancestors. And of course, we are calling only like the best loving ancestors, the ones that are here like with pure intentions and unconditional love to give you this guidance. And in the third card, it's a message and a device for your future. And these are the 3 cards. So for your card of a device for your present moment, you got generosity and abundance. And this is a really happy card. You see this woman sitting on this rock on the lake, and there's this giant waterfall behind her. It's so giant that you can even see the end of the waterfall. And the woman is so like grateful for the blessings that the water is giving her. And this card, um, there is like an explanation of the differences between generosity and charity. Charity, because when you are doing like you're donating something, or maybe you're doing some charity work, usually we do that like we give the leftovers that we have, like that we don't need anymore, and we give to someone else. There's nothing wrong with that, but the author, she makes like this differentiation, saying that generosity, it's you don't give the leftovers, you give like the best that you have, and that's when you are being generous. So you're not giving something that you wouldn't mind of giving. You're giving truly the best of yourself, or the best of your resources, the best of your time, of your emotions, of your abilities, and you are sharing this with the world. So this is a card that says that you are entering a period of abundance. Um, Probably, if you're not feeling that already, soon you will notice how everything seems to solve by themselves. Maybe things that were stuck now are flowing. You are receiving the rewards of your hard work, and you feel that everything is being accomplished with ease. And it's about like an expansion period. And the universe is reminding you of sharing your abundance with others when you are receiving, not because of this feeling that you have to, or giving the things that you don't want anymore, as in donations, as like in charity work, but to truly find a way to share with the world the best that you have. And this can be done in so many ways. Yeah, it doesn't have to be something really big. Sometimes it's just giving your time, your presence, your words of wisdom and kindness, whatever that you have, an ability that you have, or even if you have like, I don't know, a delicious cake, I don't know, that's really precious, that you love, you still share that. um it's about that, because everything that you give in this moment will come multiplied for you later. And overall, it's a really beautiful card. um but with the third card that you got, I will come back to the second, but the third card that is an advice for your future, we have like dancing with the shadow. And you see like this woman in a cave, and she's looking at her reflection in the water. It's really interesting because all of your cards, there's water depicted on the images. um and this card talks about our shadow selves, the aspects of ourselves that we kind of don't like, that we push aside, that we try to hide, the aspects of ourselves that maybe society doesn't view with good eyes. Maybe are those deep, scary emotions. Um, and with this card on your reading, I wonder if you are in this place that you are feeling that you can receive, the feeling that you can give, the feeling that there is enough resources and that there is plenty. Because this card talks about like not letting your life be guided by this what people call scarcity mindset. That's when we are moving through life and taking actions based on fear or anxiety of not having enough, of seeing everybody else as like, as if everybody was in competition with you, as if there is not enough land, not enough resources, not enough money for everybody. So you start like, sorry, there was a really loud plane right now. Maybe some of you in this abundance like period you will travel a lot. Maybe for somewhere with water, because I think water is truly important in your reading, as I was saying, like it's being depicted in all the cards. So what was saying? To not let yourself be trapped in the scarcity mindset, and to truly feel deserving of the good things in life, and feel that you deserve to get things easily, to receive the rewards, and feel like so full, so happy, so satisfied, that you naturally have this desire to share with other people, because you are feeling so completed, so full, so this happiness, this peace, this truly abundance in all areas, that we would just have this genuine desire to help others to feel the same. And there it comes the generosity part, like you just want to other people feel like this too, because this is so good and so beautiful. About your ancestors card, that they're giving you like an advice, you have the 25 card, and you see like this woman like in martial arts clothing and like kicking like she's a badass. And there is like this strong and powerful wave, and it's really interesting, this card, because the author explains like the Qing of water or something like that. And like with what comes with this card is like the feminine energy, and it doesn't matter if you identify yourself as a man, as a woman, or if you think that this binary thing is too limiting. But in a spiritual perspective, sometimes like we divide masculine and feminine energy, yin and yang energies, like just opposing energies. And usually the feminine is viewed as water, because it's more fluid, it's more like permeable, it's connected with emotions, and it gives life. But at the core of the I Ching, I don't remember exactly what I Ching the author was talking about. I don't know if it is like water or something like that, but the author explains that like in the feminine energy, in the base of the feminine energy, like there are two non-continuous lines that represents like the water aspect, like this flowing aspect, but at the center there is like a straight line that gives the core to the feminine energy. Because like if a woman is given the ability to give birth, to create a life, she doesn't have to be only like permissive, like to be able to conceive, but she needs to be really strong to protect her creation. And sometimes this like more fierce aspect of feminine energy is not well seen in our society and not so well developed, because uh, usually we don't see that. Of course, that times are changing, so there are having some changes in this direction. But overall, with this card, it says about tonifying. It has a really like physical body aspect in this card, like to really like tonify your muscles, like to go to the gym and to do some kind of workout and to give back strength to your muscles. But basically it talks about like this core, this line that kind of guides and protects all within you. So there is this aspect that is being emphasized by your ancestors. And I think with the combination of these two cards, in the now moment, in the present moment, when you are receiving this reading, there is really an emphasis like in going outside, in being more like this dynamic phase of your life, more expansive, more like to the exterior, to the outer world that you're being guided to develop it and to connect to this time. And this card talks about like because the author of these cards, she's like a midwife. She's a woman that helps other women to give birth. And this card, she talks about like there is like a period of expansion, and then after like birth, like after the woman gave birth, she needs to tonify her muscles after. It's recommended. And this card basically talks about this ability of discernment, of knowing when to go to the exterior, knowing when to go direct your energy more to the outer world and be more active and dynamic. And then when, like with this shadow card and the cave card, knowing when to have these moments of introspection, of focusing on yourself. Sorry, I had to pause for a moment. But like with the third card, that being to dance with your shadows and being the advice for your future, maybe in your future you will have like this desire, or you will be called to have more this introspection phase, to maybe face aspects of yourself that you don't feel comfortable with, but with a more mature like view of yourself, because maybe there was a time when you fear like this shadow aspect a lot, but now you're making peace with it. That's why I brought these other cards here. This is Inanna, a Sumerian goddess, and she's the Sky Queen, and she has a sister that is Ereskkigal, that was the queen of the underworld. And basically, the story tells that they are kind of at odds with each other. Like the queen of the sky, Inanna, she went to the underworld, like hell, or where the dead people stay after death, and she kind of died. Not kind of, she died there. She had to like walk through several gates in this underworld, and every like gate represented like a challenge. And by the end, I don't know, I think it was the seventh gate, she she was like left without clothes, and she died hanging on a hook, if I remember correctly the story. But this kind of part of this and then after that, after she died, she was reborn, and she was reborn like as an elevated version of herself, and she was more powerful than before, and she was truly like the almighty goddess of the sky. And it's pretty interesting, this story, because like in the underworld, Nana, she met her sister, a risky girl, that it is like her shadow. And this story depicts like, if you think of this dichotomy of like the good girl, the bad girl, and sometimes if you stay just in this like pure whitey fluffy things, innocent version of yourselves, and sometimes women are asked to be in this place in your society, you kind of don't mature, you kind of stay too naive to life. And the process of going underworld and facing your shadows, facing the things that you don't like, that you feel that is terrible about yourselves, and really going to this place of seeing who you are, because Inanna, she loses her clothes in the process of going through the gates. So this talks about getting rid of what is false, what is not ourselves, and to be left like in this naked place, to see who you really are, and to suffer this kind of the death of the ego. Then and only then she can like be reborn and to fully use her powers as the sky goddess, but not more in this position of ingenuity and of immaturity, but in a really powerful place. So, and this card talks about like maybe doing therapy, maybe doing this process of self-reflection, and even reading about myths, about stories, mythology and stuff like that, that can help you to get in touch with your unconsciousness. And that's why I brought these cards, and I told you this story because I think if you get in touch with other imagery, other stories, maybe this will help you get like some spark, some penetrating insight that might help you in the future. And I brought like Lakshmi because she's a Hindu goddess of abundance and love. And she's like in this flow state, the elephant that reminds me of the god Ganesha are pouring water on her, and she's like giving abundantly. And this is about your present moment. So your present moment is really expansive and generosity. So maybe like right now you could work with like what is abundance to you, how can you connect with abundance, If you like working with deities, maybe you can work with Lakshmi or hear mantras about Lakshmi, because then you be in this abundance state and fight back the scarcity mindset. And I put like the frog here because the frog deals with water, and like the frog talks about like when they say in the card in the textbook. Oh my gosh, sorry, my voice is just so terrible. But like on the textbook, they say that the frog helps like shamanic people or maybe psychic people to do like energetic cleaning of an environment, and that like the singing of the frog, like the sounds that the frog does with its throat, it calls thunder and rain to the bare land, to the dry land. And so this energy, it talks about revitalization after a long drought. And because there are so many like water in your reading, even like in Lakshmi we see this water, and here in Nana we have this like vase with, I don't know, something flowing out of it, maybe water, like a sacred water to unite different aspects of yourself. So I thought to put the frog here. If you like shamanic workings, you can work with the energy of the frog, and to think in a deeper level what nourishes your soul, because the frog helps you to connect like with books, with stories, with I don't know, hobbies that can nourish your soul. So maybe this is relevant for your reading. I hope that you like it, and bye bye. Hi, pile number 2, you who chose the Falcon stone. This is your reading. I will tell you how I did the card spread. So the first one is like an advice for your present moment. The second one is an advice from your ancestors. Of course, the ancestors that comes with good intentions, that love you unconditionally. And the third card, it's an advice for your future. And in the back of the cards, it got this card that is that I always use, like the last card that stays after you did the reading. After you pull the cards, I always look at the bottom of the deck to get some clues of your reading. So this is the card. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm a bit with a sore throat, but I really wanted to do this reading, so I will try my best. The first card, it's a card like in Portuguese is serenar, and like in English it would be, I don't know if it exists this word in English, but it would be like the verb form of the word serenity. So I don't know if there is like a verb with the word serenity, but in Portuguese it's like that. And this card, you see like this woman, she is like with her bowl, I don't know, maybe drinking tea and having a moment of pause. And this card talks about the importance of having these moments of pause, because these cards may suggest that the people of this group, maybe you are doing too many things. I know that in our society we are asked to work a lot and be really productive, but this card is asking you to really have this honest conversation with yourself and to analyze like which of these like works of this to-do list are truly essential and which ones are not, and you could do later in the future, because maybe you are occupying too much your agenda, your day with so many activities that you are not having time to do just pause moments, to relax and to self-reflect. And in this card there's a saying that you can only see the moon reflected on the water if the waters of the lake are still. So for us humans to see clearly, we need to have these moments of pause, of doing nothing. And the author even explored the concept of nothing in the Oriental culture, because there's a saying that everything comes from the nothing, and in the Japanese culture they have like they really love circles, and the circle represents at the same time the nothing and everything, the infinite. uh, and um, and how everything comes from this nothing, and this nothing is required, these moments of stillness, of meditation, of just doing nothing and looking maybe to the nature or enjoying your tea. And the author explores like the concept of nothing, like in gardens, in music, in works of art. And there are like, for example, musics that there is like this pause before the other notes come, and without this pause maybe the like feeling, the intention, the poetic nature of the music wouldn't be so strong, without this pause. So you are being called to relax, to give yourself just pause moments, because even though we are like really in this like do state, if you continue like that, maybe you will lose something precious, and we need these moments of doing nothing. And this is really emphasized in your reading, because the next card, the cards of the advice from your ancestors, you got the fluidity card. And you see this woman, she's totally relaxing on the water. And it's really beautiful because she's going with the flow of life. And it's really interesting because to flow with life, we need to have some kind of flexibility and trust in ourselves and in life itself, so that we can flow along. Because this woman, she could be like swimming and going against the current, but no, she's just like allowing things to go as they are going. And it's interesting, this card, because it seems to be really correlated with this one, with the Serenity card, because this card maybe talks about when you have a really stiff schedule, or you have this really rigid planning of your life, of your day, and sometimes things happen and maybe you are fighting like the circumstances instead maybe of like pausing, reflecting, and seeing like hidden blessings and opportunities in this I don't know how to say, the curves of the way, when you're like your analytical mind is like, we're going to go this to this, and then this suddenly the flow of life, the river of life makes like a detour, so maybe with this pile you're being asked to have this more flexible approach to your day, to your planning, and to give yourself more moments of relaxation, maybe taking a long bath with essential oils, doing things to slow down, allowing yourself to watch ASMR if you like to, and not the ASMR that's really like fast, but more like slow, to make you feel connected with, there is no rush feeling. So yeah, that's a really, really important part of your message. 2 cards just to talk about this slowing down. And as an advice of your future, you got the voice card. You see in the image this woman, she's touching her throat, and she seems to be howling with the wolf that is near her to the moon. And it's really interesting, like the author explores sometimes how women and other people in society too, they have their voices shut down, and then they kind of forget how to use their voice and to express their needs, their feelings, their desires. And I don't know, maybe for this pile, I would recommend reading Woman Who Runs with the Wolves, the book. It's really about getting connected back with our like instincts, with our true nature, and finding our voice again. And with this card in the future, maybe in the future it will be really important for this pile to use your voice and to express yourselves, express your creative side, express your needs, your desires, your limits too, but I think for some of you this is really like more a creative approach, because we have like the old woman here, the wise one, as the card that was in the bottom of the deck, and you see this grandmother like telling stories to maybe the grandchildren, her daughter, her grandchildren, and everybody's like in awe listening to the stories and wanting to know what is happening next. So I think the usage of your voice to express something that you truly love, maybe that's why you are being called to relax with this card, because maybe you are going to express like these good feelings, or even like to create something, to use your voice, to use your creativity, you need to be more in this flowing state, in this good state, feeling good about yourself, so that you can then like boom, share your voice and make everyone like really want to hear until the end, right? I think maybe just little children are not even blinking, because they are so, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Oh my god, what's going to happen to the blue dragon? Oh my god, I would like to ride a blue dragon. That's so interesting, I want to know more. I got this feeling. Maybe for some of you, there can be some thing about like maybe you feel that you are too old or too young to express something, but like to express it anyway, regardless of what people think. Maybe like you are more in your older years and suddenly you want this to create a book, to write a book. And everybody's like, oh my god, you are so, I don't know, maybe you're so old, you're past the age of something, and why are you doing that, But you're being really guided to use your voice because you are in the act of using your voice, of expressing yourself. You will be teaching others in a beautiful way, in an engaging way that people will feel really drawn to hear more about and to pay attention, and you'll be like passing down knowledge to other people here. And even if you are younger, everybody has like a old wise woman inside themselves. So you are being guided to connect with this older, wiser part of yourself so that you can make wiser choices. And this involves like having these moments of rest, of pause, sometimes going against everything in our society that calls us to do, and this incessant movement to really tap in this knowledge, in this wisdom. Give yourself time out. Give yourself relaxation moments, because then in the future, regaining your strength, regaining your inner balance, regaining your inner peace, and just feeling good about yourself, you will be able to share your voice in such a strong and powerful and inspiring way. And this card is really nice because it talks about using your voice. I know that we can express ourselves in different manners. We can paint, we can draw, we can write through written words, but this card specifically talks about the power of using your voice. So this card suggests even to play expressing your emotions, like if you're angry, you could do like the wolves do, is in kind of do, you could be doing like strange noises, like really whistling or humming or doing like everything through the sound. Like if you feel happy, what sound would you do? If you are sad, what sound would you do? And even allowing yourself, this card specifically tells to, when you, I don't know how can I say this in English, but when you are singing and your voice is totally off, you know, like everybody is like who is listening is covering their ears because the sounds that you are making, they are not in tune, you know, and they sound really terrible and awful. But even though it is strange, this card really tells for you to play singing awkwardly. And I think this would be especially good with this pile because if we take into consideration the messages of these two cards, maybe you are trying to do everything too perfectly, you know. Maybe you are living a life that is too well planned and it's not giving too much room for surprises and other things to exist, you know, and just moments of relaxation and just being. Maybe you are taking yourself too rigidly and criticizing yourself for not being perfect. So if even if you're trying like to create something or share a message or express yourself in a certain way, maybe you are being too critical of yourself and not allowing like to create something awful. Sometimes like when you are an artist, maybe there is just pressure of doing something really beautiful that other people will love. But sometimes for an artist, it's really important to just doing something like crazy, awful, strange, you know, just to get the creative side flowing without judgment, without restrictions. Because then after doing that like awful, awful like piece of art or something like that, then like the author will release himself or herself of this like criticizing of this pressure and then be back to the flow and to use his or her voice powerfully and creating something powerful, you know. So for those of you that resonates with the part of the message, even though like maybe you're not like a professional artist, but in some ways the humans have this creativity power that makes themselves humans, you know. So in some level everybody is an artist. So if you feel that you are too in this busy mind, busy doing, in really criticizing yourself or putting too higher standards for yourself and criticizing yourself over it, trying to reach this perfection, I think it would be really important for you to do this exercise of singing awkwardly to like lose yourself, you know, and so that you can connect with this more flowy side and instinctive side of yourself because your voice will be requested in the future. So I hope that you like it and bye bye. Hi, pile number 3, welcome back to your reading. You who chose the rose quartz, this is your reading. I will tell you how I did the card spread. So first, we got like a card for your present moment. The second, we took a card that is an advice from your ancestors, and of course, only like the ancestors with good intentions that love you unconditionally to show up. And the third card is an advice for your future. And in the bottom of the deck, it was this card, so I left it here because I think the card that stays on the bottom of the deck always gives some clues to the reading. Also, I must apologize because my throat is sore, so maybe my voice is a little hoarse and strange, so I apologize for that. The first card. Sorry, before that, I forgot to mention, I think some of you who chose this pile, maybe you were in doubt whether choosing pile 1 or pile 3. If you are one of these people, maybe you could check pile number 1. Anyways, going back to your first card, the advice for your present moment when you are hearing this reading, you got the creation card. And it's a card that talks about creativity and creating things. It's very likely, if you're not in this process already, that you will feel really inspired to do something. And this card is really beautiful because it talks about like how inspiration, how creation is something that get to us, maybe not because of our human wills, but sometimes it's something greater. You know, like it is as if we are moved by these like strong forces of nature that we don't know too much about, or that they are so immeasurable and powerful and beautiful, and we just feel this sudden urge to simply create something. And by this process of creation, the artist is transformed as well. And you see how beautiful it is. Like she prepared this little flower pot, like to call the best energies to assist her in the process of making the ceramics. She chose to do that in this beautiful beach, by the sand, by the ocean, by the mountains. When she's creating this piece of ceramic, all these energies of her surrounding are blessing this piece of ceramics. You know, the ocean, the sand, the clouds, the light of the sun is touching her creation. So it's a really beautiful process. And if you connect with this creative side of yourself, I think you would be surprised of how many beautiful things you could create, and like the beautiful being that you are. Because as the second card says, that is an advice from your ancestors. You got the beauty card, and this card talks about like beauty as being something that is able to touch the soul and to heal the soul and to make people think that you are beautiful, you know, and to really transform and heal the soul. It's like maybe you are walking through a city and then you see something beautiful, you see a work of art or a piece of art, and you are momentarily touched by it, and the creation touched something in your soul, in your being, and you are not the same person anymore. And this card is really beautiful because it says too about, you know, when you kind of fall in love and you don't know that you've fallen in love until like you falling in love. I don't know if it makes sense, but it's like you touch another souls through your creativity, through your creations, and realize that creations can have like a really broad meaning. It could be like a cake that you make, or even don't know, a product that you make. Maybe you make houses and you do the project to that. Like everything can be a creation. The way that you I don't know, brush your hair, choose your clothes, the way that you speak, the tone that you speak, the rhythm that you speak, the words that you speak, the way that you look, the energy that goes in that. So your life is a piece of creation, and you are being guided to create and to be mesmerized by the beauty that you are, by the beauty that you create. And it's very likely that your art, your creativity, whatever that you create, it's able to touch the souls of other beings and to heal the souls of other beings. And many people will feel that what we've created is really beautiful. And I think because of the third card, that the third card that is a message for your future, it says, the title of the card is to lick your wounds. Because here you see like this woman, she's crying, and there are these incenses here that maybe suggest like a grief process, you know, maybe something died, maybe something ended, and this woman, she's processing it, and she has a cute little white cat. Maybe white represent peace, I don't know, but then this little white cat is licking her wounds to make the bleeding stop, you know, because we have like some proteins in our saliva, I don't know how to say, in the liquid of our mouths. We have these proteins that help to heal wounds, like to cicatrize wounds. So it's like even an instinctive thing, like if you cut yourself, sometimes you see children like licking your tongue, or we see that mammals do this. So it's a natural process. I think some of you maybe, because like the card that is in the bottom is like this, to use the broom, you know, to clean your spaces and to clear old places that we don't touch, you know. Sometimes when we have like a wardrobe that is full of things that we've collected throughout like decades or throughout many years, and it's full of chaos and a lot of stuff, and we kind of know that the wardrobe like is a mess, but we don't clean it. We refuse to touch some places because we know that it's dirty, it's full of things that don't serve us. It's like it will be a lot of work. Maybe some memories will resurface and we will be sad, and we don't want to like face that yet. So maybe for some of you, I don't know, maybe some of you guys really tried some creative endeavor. Maybe you were a writer and your book got refused, or even you created a YouTube channel, but then things happened and you decided to, I don't know, to cancel your account. Maybe some of you has just like old wounds regarding creating, maybe. And what the cards are saying, that feel your pain, feel your sadness, feel your anger. You don't need to pretend that you are happy. You don't need to make a process of grief quicker because everybody expects you to return back to your normal life. Um, but I think right now you are in a stronger place as to like maybe even the process of creating beautiful things is going to make you process like these emotions, these old wounds. And even if you were once an artist and you had like a poor response of the public, or maybe your work got denied, even if something like that happened in the past, you don't need to worry about that in the future. Like these old energies are being cleaned, and to make room for better things, for new opportunities, for new people, for new reactions. What I'm seeing is that really important for you to create, to create. And in the future, maybe like, I think like you will feel like inspired to create, and we will really enjoy this process. I'm feeling it. It's not something that you are doing forcefully, it will be really spontaneous and good, and you feel really good. And I think like this card is the future card. Maybe in a conscious or unconscious level, this creation process will make you be able to face these old wounds and finally lick your wounds and stop the bleeding, and to go through this healing process of not having to bleed anymore. And maybe for some of you, you'll be feeling called more to sorry, to stay a time alone, to go through this process of creation and to heal your wounds. And maybe that's why you chose like pile 3 and not pile number 1, for example, because I saw like the pile number 1 group had kind of a similar message to you, but they were more in this like expansive state of connecting with their people and being really dynamic and like more exterior based, like their energy is more to the exterior. And I think although your creations will touch the exterior, like you will touch other beings and people and heal them, I think the process of creation will be, I think, more a lonely one. Like you, maybe even if you are like doing some painting classes or ceramic classes or anything like that, maybe you will feel called to do that more in a quiet place, maybe when there are not so many other students. Maybe you will want to wake up really early so that you can have a quiet moment to do your thing, whatever it is, if it is a workout, exercise, a project, anything that you're putting your soul in it and revealing your authentic self. And by this process of creation, you'll be like finally allowing yourself to feel the grief, to feel the sadness, to feel the anger, to feel anything that it must be felt, that's being called to be felt without restrictions or limitations. So maybe like you will create this and you feel really good, but then like some days later or something like that, you will start like crying a lot and you'll be really sad, and maybe you will like be, oh my god, why I'm so sad, why these old memories are resurfacing. But this is all part of the process. Like I think your soul is being called to create and to create beautifully, to like to move this stagnant energy so that you can that so that it can resurface and you can deal with it properly, and then this will create like space, you will clean these old energies, these old traumas, these old memories, so that you can finally clean everything up and create more space for yourself, for good things to come, and for more beauty to come to your life. And maybe you will even be feel called to like organize your space, because it's true, like the creation process can be a little chaotic, like you will uh, make a little bit of mess maybe, and that's totally okay, because this is the creativity process, like with the sand and the mud and stuff like that. But I think like maybe before you start creating, you feel this need like to organize and beautify your space, because you see that we're talking about Japanese culture here, so usually they are quite organized. They clean the environment because they feel like cleaning the environment will call good energies. She beautified her place with this little flower pot. So I think maybe you will feel this need to clean and beautify your room, or the places that are important to you, or the place where you are going to create your thing, and you are being um, blessed by this like sudden inspiration to clean, to beautify, to create, and to ultimately change your world and create this beauty. So yeah, I hope that you like it, and bye bye.